Good evening, everyone. 8:30. We're going to do a post-match review of Manchester United 0, Newcastle 0. Ugh. Welcome to the Man United Agenda. My name is Omundi Juma, and I'm joined by one of my favorite guests, and that'll be Eddie, Football Waffle. Make sure you check out his channel. He released such great comedic and informative comedy little slots for 10 minutes. It's all of it, 10-minute slots or whatever. And comedy gold and great stuff. So big up to Eddie, Football Waffle. How are you doing? Have you had your Sunday dinner? Are you settled? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, man, I had my dinner. That was the highlight of the day, really, because we had to deal with this frustrating result. But yeah, it's good to be on with yourself. I'm looking forward to getting in, just like chewing the fat, seeing what people say in the comments as well. There's always interesting comments. So yeah, man, let's get into it.
Well, you talked about the comments. I'm just going to go through a couple now. So welcome everyone who's tuning in. I want to say big up to TalkMU. He done a great watch along. I had it on sounds earlier on. And yeah, really informative with Matty as well. And he's got better insight than me because he saw a majority of the game, more of the game than me. He said poor performance, right back striker, midfield and goalkeeper needed. Sancho's not provided enough. And Anthony has to be braver when one-on-one. We touched on those. Vincent Bollock, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. He said, who was the best player today? He'd have to say Sancho. That's in contrast to what TalkMU just said. Big G's here saying it certainly wasn't Fred or Bruno. And good evening to Matthew Bassett as well. You know, Matthew Bassett on the Friday night show with Eddie as well. So let's get right into this, guys. Let's talk about the lineup because obviously we've got a lot of games coming up. Is that right, Eddie? We're playing Spurs. So we're playing Chelsea and Spurs and Chelsea in the next week, 7 days. So we have to sort of rotate. So just looking at the lineup as well. We started with De Gea in goal. Is there any issue with you with De Gea in goal? Because we've got to grab the Bratko in as well. Do you still think De Gea's you've got no issue with him starting?
I mean, with De Gea, it was a bit of a mixed bag of a performance today. I mean, there was some passes that he was making that was okay, but there was quite a few times in that game or several times in that game where I was looking and I was like, he was giving the ball away because we want to be playing out from the back. We want to keep possession. I think if Dubravka is good on the ball, he's got to be tried at some point. If that's why he was brought in, because I'm still trying to think why he was brought in. I'm not sure why, but De Gea today, we can see that we need a keeper that's really good on the ball and that can play out from the back line and just make better passes in certain transitions of the game.
So Eddie, do you think like with the starting lineup, there's never a question, is it? I thought the Bratko would have started in Europe the other day, but I can't see him playing in the Premiership. So there's no issue with De Gea starting at the moment. There's no surprises there for you.
I'll just go back to my point of whether Dubravka is good with his feet. This is the thing, really. I mean, it didn't get to a point where where we were conceding goals or anything like that. But I'm not surprised that De Gea started anyway because before this game he has been playing okay. Really, we're not seeing mistakes. He's made those textbook saves he likes to do. So yeah, I mean, this is where we've got to look at the process. We don't have all the people that we need to play this possession ball yet. So yeah, I mean, it's got to be De Gea for now, hasn't it? Really.
So any surprises back four? I mean, two main guys here. Shaw played instead of Malacia and Varane. Would you have gone with that? Is that okay with you?
I mean, we've seen this is the thing in it because we've got to allow people to settle. We've seen with Malacia, there's certain games where he's made those certain mistakes. For me, he doesn't look like he's strong enough to be honest. There's certain times where I see him, he looks like I don't know if I'm being harsh, but sometimes he's losing out on some of these battles. Maybe it's not that much, but I mean, we've seen Luke Shaw come through and be a bit better. In I think the last game he was, he looked like he was handling the ball quite a bit, going forward. But it's like I think there's just an issue overall with people, especially in the fullbacks positions, an issue with them overlapping properly. But in terms of like picking the team, it's like who else are you gonna pick really apart from Varane and Martinez at the back? Like they're a good partnership. Diogo Dalot today, don't think he was too good as well. Yeah, there's just not enough overlapping really. But I think we've seen that from all of the fullbacks that have played. Not enough crossing from them. Not enough, taking the responsibility to help the wingers enough.
There's a started already this Fred issue because clearly he didn't have a good game today, but he started. I think maybe one of the first games started in a while with Casemiro in midfield. I was a bit shocked by that, but what's your feelings on that? Do you think it's just about rotation now with Fred coming in, and do you think after today's performance he will be out again?
Yeah, it seems like he'll be out because I was watching for like his composure, and he's just not a player that is composed. And just looking at like the team from the Ammonia game, he played against Ammonia, right? So it's like you were thinking maybe there would be a bit more rotation for this game, but I think overall the team was taxed by being jaded from that game. But keeping it on Fred today, there's just like in the first half, I think his first half was worse, wasn't it? Really, I don't know if you saw enough of him in that first half. Just not passing the ball well. Not keeping it well, losing the 50-50s. This is the thing with Fred. He loses too many 50-50s, really. And yeah, his shooting, he got into positions where he was linking up with Sancho. And you could see, like, when he tried some shots that were off target, when he tried to use initiative, he's getting caught on the ball. So I think, answering your question, I think he'll be out of the team again. And we missed Eriksen. That's a big one. If we're going to get into that as well a bit later, we're missing Eriksen for this game.
Talking about the starting lineup, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Eriksen seems to start most games, and we do have a bit more control, I feel, when Eriksen does start. I'm just going to go to a few comments because they are talking about the midfield and certain things. So, Stuart Marshall, how you doing, man? It's an absolute shambles today. That's all he's got to say. I want to say hi to Bath Time with Vaughan, and Bath Time with Vaughan is a top analyst. He's saying, OMONDI, how much have you done on resisting presses, and the different types of counter presses? We'll have to chat about that later, Bath Time. Matthew Bassett says it's evident that we need another deep line midfielder as an alternative to Eriksen, as we just say here. Fred isn't good enough. Also, we need to have a clinical number 9 up top. These are issues coming up. Stuart Marshall saying, I actually feel for Ronaldo, Sancho should have got no confidence whatsoever. Bath Time saying, I don't like to congratulate him much, but on his 500 game, he got a clean sheet. That's De Gea. Don't even mention Fred. Sorry, Solo. Says Stuart Marshall as well. Big up to Pat Lawless. Hope you're doing well, my man. And Viking Red, how you doing? Welcome, man. I hope you're well. Bath Time's just flabbergasted here. He said, how on earth did Brazil got to the World Cup with those two midfielders? Beyond me. So there's a lot of issues here. Big G saying, for me, the midfield is killing us. There's only Eriksen that is world class at the killer through ball, also the movement and finishing of the front three. So there's a lot of disgust here. Viking Red saying, you just can't understand why Ten Hag doesn't give youth a chance. All we are saying is give Peace a chance. But what we are saying is give youth a chance. Stuart Marshall saying if Bruno concentrated on playing instead of whinging, we might get somewhere. Paddy as well. How you doing, Paddy? We need a striker, right back, left back as a top quality midfield. Pathline says no way we bought Casemiro to unlock generational talent threat. Surely not. And there's so much here. Look, can't rely on Eriksen as he can't play every week. Should have kept Garner in midfield. That's a good point there. And just going to move my mic while the dogs go mad. Vincent's in the house. Vincent. He's our Dutch correspondent. And he's saying fans underestimate the progress so far. Be mindful that this was a counter-attacking team. And to convert to an Ajax system is a big change. I see progress, and you still need transfers, he's saying. So we're going to come back to you now. We're going to talk about the key moments of the game. Because I was going to talk about Sancho and Ronaldo, but we'll come on to that as well. So Wilson, Callum Wilson, should he have had a penalty? Him in the box. Dodgy. What's going on? Be fair. Take a Man United agenda or Man United hat off. What's your thoughts on that? Is that a penalty?
Yeah, I mean, I with these kind of decisions with the refs, I always like to be objective because if you get some decisions that work for your favor and they're not correct, it's like with karma. Sometimes that comes back to bite you. So I like everything to be fair. There was about 4 penalty decisions that could have been penalties, none of them given. I would say at least 2 out of the 4 should have been given. Wilson, yeah, from what I saw, clearly he was fouled. I think the saving grace that the commentators were saying was that Martinez was getting back, and then the ball was too far away from Wilson. I still think that's a foul there. You're stopping the player from moving forward, so that should have been a pen. There was one on
Just
Sancho.
Eddie with that. So if you're a defender, what do you do as Varane? Because why would he put? Because he's not. He just put his body there. What is there anything else he could have done in that situation? There seemed to be another man there. Why would he do that? Is it just instinct, or as a defender, what do you think he should have done there? Because that's really reckless. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to talk like this because he's in a split-second decision, right? He's got to just react and make the best decision within a split second. I'm thinking if you're a top defender, you make the shoulder barge. He put in the leg as well. He got very lucky. He put his leg in there as well. Yeah. So, you can't do that kind of contact off the ball. We're allowed the shoulder barge, but not that leg as well. So, yeah, a shoulder barge, just get in his way a bit. So he's got to sort that out. I mean, Varane's a top player. I was surprised that he did that kind of thing, He's been on form this season, so hopefully he can cut that out.
Bartime saying, any thoughts on Varane's passing? Because we've seen the difference with Lindelof. Lindelof can actually ping a ball and whip it around the park. Varane maybe not so as good as Lindelof in that respect, but we come on to that as well. Just want to say, obviously, did you hear about our sponsor, Eddie? Do you know about our sponsor? It's called Global Mapping for Surveys, and we're now sponsored by them. They Global Mapping Surveys currently assist architects, property developers, and construction companies all over the country. They offer a wide range of services, such as setting out topographical surveys, 3D laser scanning, and monitoring. The link is in the description for the website and contact details, guys. So there you go. Global Mapping Surveys in the house. But back to the key moments. So I would have given that as a penalty. I thought it was a penalty. I don't know why the ref didn't give that. You got to be fair out there because, like I say, if it's a foul outside the box, don't change your mind just because it's inside the box. That's a foul, no doubt about it. I don't know what you guys think in the comments as well, but we're coming to you soon. Second bit, Joe Lilton had two headers. One hit the crossbar from a free kick set piece. Let me just say this. I don't think they really broke us down, which is a promising thing. It's not all down on Man United today. I felt that Newcastle didn't really break us down or open us up in any way. A free kick from Trippier, second ball, second phase of play. Joe Lilton got a header, hit the crossbar, and then he got this next one again, hit the post. How do you feel about that? Do you think the defenders should have, how can he have two opportunities without even being challenged?
But yeah, before analysing that, just that moment there, I thought Newcastle, they did well in that first half. They looked sharper. They looked like they were winning like these 50-50s. Man United, like I said, they looked like they were jaded from the ammonia game. For the Joelinton chance there, the first one, I'm just thinking, because he's quite a big player, it's hard to mark that kind of guy. When you're a big player in there, it's hard to mark them, stop them from doing a header. On the rebound, maybe people could have been a bit more alert. But yeah, I think we're just lucky. That's what it was from there. Maybe because Joelinton's quite a threat in the air. You've got a man mark a bit tighter. Maybe Varane, he's got to be talking to the defense. He's got to take it upon himself to man mark some of the threats in there. That I'm sure. I mean, have we still got that set piece coach that we hired from last season? Like we got to get onto this guy and do some better man marking, in my opinion. Because a better team will punish us. I mean, I think what was it? Joelinton hit the post 2 times, right? And it was just like the odds of that. He's not going to do that again. He'll score. And if he had that chance.
My thing about that, which I was really disappointed about, is that no one challenged him. First one, granted, he got the header on. But why standing around ball watching? You've got to go back and ensure. I'm so sorry.
The dogs are angry about the game as well. They're angry about Man United's defending as well, man. I feel for the dogs, man. I feel the pain too.
Sorry about that. I really do apologize. Yeah, sorry. As I was saying, I just think the second time around, you got don't just stand and watch it and think, oh God, it's hit the bar. Wow, give it to the man, or tap the ball. That's what I'm a bit disappointed about that. And Viking Red saying here, Joe Lilton's headers remarkable. I think he's sort of expressing the same concern about that. Next moment was Ronaldo, the free kick with Pope. So the referee in theory, the referee's blown the whistle, walked away. So yeah, play. The defenders popped it back to the goalkeeper. Ronaldo switched on, said, "Aha!" I remember George Best done this with the goalkeeper, didn't he? He was hiding behind the goalkeeper, Pat Jennings, I think it was, and waited for the ball to drop, and then came around and done a little sly one, and that was disallowed. But what do you think about this move here? Do you think that should be allowed? Do you think the referee should say, "Okay, I did actually say play, give the goal"? What's your thoughts on that? And guys in the comments as well.
Yeah, for that moment there, I didn't quite catch it because the ball went out of place. So I went to the toilet because I had to take a piss. So coming back, I heard the commentators say that he did. The referee, what is it? He blew his whistle again, or so. It seemed like the referee stopped play again, because why wouldn't he give the goal if it was really in play? That's the thing with me. I don't think it was really in play then. Because why would you stop the goal?
Because I think he's saying maybe sportsmanship. You know, he turned away, went play. The defender knocked it back a little bit to give it to the goalkeeper, and didn't realise. It was just a kerfuffle all round. But Ronaldo was the only one who picked up on it, and it should, by the book, it should be a goal because referees wave play. The defenders kicked it, set the ball into play, and then Ronaldo's just uses initiative there, and the goalkeeper's just standing there. Do you see what I'm saying? So for me, that should be a goal. Don't know what you guys think. Maybe it's bad sportsmanship. I think that's the only reason why the referee might have given it, or just a bit embarrassing for the referee because he's walked away, said to play, and walked off thinking the goalie was going to crash it forward or something. So what do you guys think in the comments? I do think there's a bit. Sometimes you have to give credit to the initiative of the player. And I would have liked that to be a goal, naturally, because I'm made that sport. I thought that was very clever of him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, are you going to go through the comments? Yeah, go through.
Okay, let's go through some comments here. So, we're talking about Joe Lilton's header. We'll say hi to Tyrone Williams. Said United had enough chances today. Fred, Rashford wasted opportunities. We'll come on to that very soon. We had 80 million wingers on each flank today. Sancho and Anthony. We're going to talk about them in more detail a bit later. I think one of the many issues with our wingers today is for Anthony, Bruno was too far away to combine with Fred. And Fred had Sancho as well. That's a good observation from Bath time. Non-clinical striker isn't evident at United. Have to bring one in. That's from Paddy. I want to say hi to Just Telling. The last missed goal, if Ronaldo was there, that would have been a goal. We're going to come on to that because you want to talk about Ronaldo, didn't you? About Rashford's header. We'll come on to this, guys. We're definitely coming on to this. Sancho is a pale shadow of the fellow we signed from Dortmund, says Paddy. Stuart Marshall saying, glad I didn't go roll on Wednesday. Spurs at home, so you're going to the Spurs game. Big up. Bath time saying we need more structure for me. Ronaldo pathetic in the press and counter. Bruno positional playing like a free radical means you can't build on anything. It's a good shout again from Bath time. Box, how you doing? Box saying I can't see us scoring against Spurs. Very Italian defensive setup. Bath time saying can't rely on Scott being airdropped in to bail us out. Obviously, Scott McTominay was a no-show today because he got yellow card suspension. Boxer saying Spurs will be tough watch this season under Conte, but they sacrifice star for points. You can rely on Song and Crane to get crucial goals. There's so much more comments, Kins, but we're going to move on. The next thing I want to discuss is the Jaden Sancho penalty. Obviously, he sort of come into the box, jinking, quick feet, and Longstaff put out a foot, and he went down, and the referee was right there, and he decided not to give it. And I think it even went to VAR, and they said it's not a foul either. If that was outside the box, likewise with Callum Wilson one, that's a foul in my opinion. I don't know if you agree. And the second thing is, why would the referee not give it? I mean, what's going on?
It looks like it's a matter of like what you're saying. It seems like the officials are really like they wanted maybe like a rugby tackle to give a penalty today, because Wilson's was a pen. They looked like there was contact on Sancho as well. So it's like maybe it was a bit softer than the Wilson one, but there's still contact there. If there's contact on the player, that stops him from doing like the momentum of his move. So it's a foul, isn't it? Technically, contact off the ball, especially with the foot, is a foul. So for me, I'm really close to being no. I am VAR out right now. Because if we look at it, we're still getting decisions that are wrong. But the only thing is now that we can't celebrate goals like at first instance. We look at penalties that don't get they don't get given when they're drawing all kinds of lines here and there, and for offsides, and they're just not getting it right as well. So for me, it's like the referees, they need to go back to some boot camp to be trained or whatever it is. Because isn't it, Monday, it's every week we're talking about VAR decisions. And we can see they're getting it wrong. It's terrible.
So, but right, here's to you, Eddie. So, look, two instances where there seems to be a foul, contact was made, and the guy's gone over. For me, they're both fouls, Callum Wilson and Jaden Sancho. If they've gone up to the VAR, why can't they not give the foul? It's a foul by the book. That's a foul. If you could say I can't even think that it's the defender's fault because you're told don't even put your foot out. Like you said, mentioned earlier about Varane, put your body in or something, make it different. When you put your foot out, the attacker is going to be intelligent enough to go over. So by the book, that is a foul. And if you take it to the VAR, if the referee don't see it, that's what VAR's there for. You take it to VAR. I don't care if it's against us or what. You have to give it. You have to give it because you either know the game as a referee or an ex-player or something up there to say, bruv, I don't care if I'm at Old Trafford. That's a foul. Boom, give the penalty. So you're saying VAR's not working, but that's how VAR should work. That's the whole point of it. To miss things like that, the referee might not see it in live play. We saw in the Man City against Liverpool game today with a goal that Man City scored. The referee saw something live in live action play where shirt was pulled, Haaland pulled Fabinho's shirt and brought him down. VAR decided to turn that around. So this is where corruption can come in, I believe. There's always talk about corruption when there wasn't VAR, but I think it can be. There's equally you're supposed to take out corruption, but VAR can still be put in because I'm thinking there's no consistency here. And I heard Bernardo Silva say that as well. Don't you just want to see consistency, Eddie?
Yeah, it just seems like it's too much still. It's based on interpretation still, because I go back to your point of if those challenges are out of the box, we're 100% we're seeing it being called as a foul. So it just seems like there's an interpretation of the referees thinking, maybe not enough contact for there to be a goal scoring penalty chance to be given, but that's not the rules, is it? It's got to be black or white, not a grey area where you're thinking, is there enough contact? It's contact. It's got to be a black and white rule. So it's got to be sorted because, it's a mess. It is a mess. And we'll just keep complaining every week. And, the managers are going to be on the referees association, man, because, it's every week. Like I said, it's not acceptable.
Okay, so we talk about penalties and we can moan about that, but we did have chances. This is the thing. I'm going to go to two chances now where we should have scored, to be fair. The first one was Rashford. He came on for Ronaldo, by the way. We're going to talk about that. He's used his pace. The ball's played out wide. He got there first, squared it across the 6-yard box. Fred was running in, as he usually does, and I felt he should just buried that. I don't know how or why it's gone wide, but I'm disappointed with that. And finally, last few seconds of the game, someone said in here, Ronaldo would have finished his dinner. It's a bread and butter header. Rashford, who doesn't score, he's not known for his heading, had a clear opportunity just to put it in the corner of the net, and it went wide. Talk to me, bruv. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try and just start on a positive a little bit. Just going back, because we're talking about Fred. You mentioned Fred. At least we had a midfield where we were trusting Casemiro with holding the midfield. It was just like a single pivot, and Fred and Bruno were getting forward. I like to see that. It wasn't quite calibrated well. I thought there was still too many gaps, but that's the reason Fred got forward for that chance that he did miss. It's just that it's Fred. I mean, Fred's technique on the ball with finishing. I just don't know what it is. Is it the theatre of dreams that intimidates him? Because we've seen him for Brazil where he looks technically better. Come on, why is he going to be picked for them unless he's got something that does well? So, I mean, I wasn't surprised that he missed it, to be honest, because we've seen him miss a lot of chances in front of goal. And then coming to Rashford's miss, I mean, I thought that was going to be the one. Casemiro tried an outside of the foot pass, like Cancelo. I thought this is going to be it, man, because that was an amazing outside of the foot pass. And you expect a striker, any striker, get the header on target. You're right there near the 6-yard box, and it goes wide. And we've got to talk about it. If you're having all of the possession in the second half, Newcastle went for the low block. Why are you not going to have your number one striker who's great at clutch goals? Ronaldo is great at clutch goals. His legacy, his heading ability is still going to be the best, because you don't lose heading ability even when you're getting old. You don't lose that. So for me, that's a big mark on Ten Hag today. I'm really disappointed that he took him off. You know, I mean, if you're going to go for it, keep Ronaldo on and Rashford. If you're trying to get the win, you know, we had all the possession, 60% possession. Newcastle were hardly doing anything. So for me, yeah, Ten Hag, a little bit of a check mark on him.
So you think Ten Hag made a boo-boo there? He should have. Are you saying Rashford comes on for Sancho then? Is that what you're suggesting? And keep Ronaldo up front?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this is the thing. This is why we've got to come back to the fact that it is a process, because we're looking at who could come on and unlock this low block. Rashford, we know what Rashford's game is. Get in behind when there's space. Get in, instinctive, head down, run, and get the quick shot.
When you say head down, I hate that. Pick your head up, bro. You know.
This is why we're hoping for the process to work. We're hoping that players like Rashford will be taught to get their head up and do those things, do those technical things. But it's not quite there yet. So he only used one sub as well, which was it tells you Ten Hag's mind is that he's not thinking he's got enough on the bench to change that game, because it was calling out for some fresh legs to try and do some interplay in between Newcastle's low block. I heard people saying maybe, there's some comments saying maybe we should try the youth. I was saying that last season as well when Ralph Ragnick was in there. I think because we have the coach that is Ten Hag now, he can teach players, he can get people to play a certain way, give them instructions. I think this may be a time to see the youth come in, because this is supposed to be the season where we're getting the play going. We're calibrating how to play in possession. And it's just that I fear that the pressure of getting top 4 is going to compromise the Ten Hag trying to teach these guys his style of play. Because we've seen Ten Hag have to go to counter-attack at one point during that 4-game run when we were getting wins. It was counter-attack. Now he's kind of going into his style. But we just lost that result there.
I don't feel it was completely counter-attack. I do feel like you had 25 minutes in the game where the other team is like all on you. And then you have to sort of set up in a way where you can sort of be conservative, you know. I think that's where we've improved. It's not like maybe we set up before with under Oli, we could have been accused of being a counter-attacking team for the whole game. I think there's phases in the game where you do have to be on the back foot a lot, and then I think we've improved in that sense. So it's interesting.
Yeah, against the bigger teams. Yeah, against bigger teams, we should be counter-attacking like that. But there were certain games before we get into the comments. There were certain games that I saw that against Southampton, Leicester, where it did look like we were massively doing a counter-attack, but at least Ten Hag.
So going to the comments, Big G, Gavin's in the house. He said, I would have both Iqbal and Manu in on the bench today. There's a question here about Rashford I'm going to come back to. He's not finished his goal. And Mr. B's really, really upset there. He said, Fred was shocking miss. I do agree, Mr. B, totally. And he's also saying Rashford was just as bad, you know. But at bath time saying that Rashford is one of our best scorers, saying Rashford has XG. XG, for everyone who doesn't know, means expected goals or assists of 1.9 and 3 goals. He's our best finisher at the moment. You know, so
he's got the most goal involvements overall this season. So I can see why he was brought on, but it should have been in addition of Ronaldo, as I said before.
I want to say hi to Ola Kune. He's back, guys. Obviously, Liverpool won today. Great result against Manchester City. He's saying CR37. He can't keep up with fast counter-attacks. Also says Kerwin Carter. Welcome back, broski. How you doing, man? He said, I felt like Sancho could have sold it a bit better. Not to blame him, though. This is about the penalty. These are key moments in the game, I feel. Blatant penalty on Sancho, says Mr. B. We're talking about strikers. There was a lot of conversation in the chat about strikers. And Paddy's saying, "Well, should get us another Ruud van Nistelrooy." that's a generational player. There's not many of them come along, and one of them who's that good is that Man City at the moment.
I wish it could be that easy just to pick up, you know, a route in the Dutch league. Because Ten Hag would be straight on that kind of character right now. He knows that league to get those diamonds in the rough. Oh,
what do you think of this from Box? I've saved this comment. I wanted to come to you on this one, Eddie. He said the January and summer transfer windows are key. This season is clearly a bedding one process, so it's key we identify targets and bring them in for full pre-season. So I'm going to ask you, in January, if we're in position as we are now, just outside top 4 or sort of on the cusp of it, do you think we should sort of spend more money and to get players in? Just as Tottenham did last season, they spent a bit of money to get some players in, and they got their top 4. So is it that important this season, or do we wait as a process here? Before you answer that, I'm just going to go to Vincent, our Dutch correspondent again, because he's dropped in a $5. Thank you very much. He's saying, get used to being irritated about the late substitution from Erik ten Hag, and he will not throw youth in an unfinished structure. At Ajax, there's a 50-year-old style that works. So I really love get the insight of Vincent. Thanks, Vincent. Thanks for the money as well. That's going into my pocket, hopefully, my wages, because I'm the hardest working man on the Man United agenda. A joke. So again, going back to the two things I want to ask you about the youth as well, youth squad depth, and also about what to do in this January if we're in a key position. Because as you saw today, you know, we didn't have a striker to finish our dinner. Fred's probably not good enough. Would you, if we're in still in position and we're not out of it, would you invest like Spurs did last season?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much like to discuss on this, because we got to look at like the aspirations, right? Ten Hag's aspirations, yeah. He's a football guy. Those aspirations that he's got of getting his players in is going to be different from the Glazers trying to balance their books and make sure, you know, they're not spending too much, make sure they're getting their dividends and everything, right? We've seen from history that the Glazers, they're not football guys, right? How many times do we have to say that? It's like broken record settings. Like when we talk about the Glazers, they've overspent. I was on the takeaway talking about this with Mr. B and the other good fellas. Yeah, we've overspent.
Guys, yeah.
We've overspent on Casemiro, overspent on Anthony, and we've seen from previous budgets when that happens, that tends to come off a future budget. So I'm thinking definitely no transfers coming in January, and that may be offset against even the next summer budget as well. You know, we know the Glazers like to be stingy to a certain point, but then panic and overspend on certain signings. So I don't think they're going to authorize because I think definitely we need a striker. And like Paddy was saying, like maybe with Ruud van Nistelrooy, like even that guy, like what do you call it? A Ruud van Nistelrooy in his incubation, like a Gakpo or whatever, would be great to see some freshness come in. But really, the Glazers, I don't think they're going to authorize that, really, are they? They're not going to spend again. How much have they spent now? Is it 270 million now for this first window? They'll think they've backed the manager enough. And the squad as well. So
let me ask you. So they're not going to spend. So you're prepared to wait 2, 3, 4 transfer windows to get it right, and then to spend conservatively over this period. And if you're on the cusp of getting top 4, you'll sacrifice that for going to the management and saying, let's get some more money because we could make it. If that's what I'm saying. If we're in a good position, Eddie, come Christmas, come the January transfer window, isn't it right to put the money there and say, look where we're at with what I'm working with. Please, can you add a bit more money so we can get another player in, so we can get top 4 and achieve our goals earlier than we would have expected.
I just really hope, from what you're saying, I'm hoping Ten Hag has got some good persuasion in him, because today he used one sub when you got 5, and we need the goal. We need fresh legs because most of that team played against Ammonia. He's showing with that decision just to bring on one sub that the bench is not strong enough. That should be telling, like, real football owners should be saying, okay, we need to back our manager again. We need to go in again in January, maybe get another playmaker, get a striker. Let's see what we can do. But we know what these Glazers are, don't we? I mean, I just hope that they reassess the goals then. If they're not going to back him even more, take off that top 4 pressure then. Let's make the season about getting the football bred into the youth, bred into the first team, trying to work out these growing pains that we've got going on right now. And yeah, from our point of view, yes, we'd all spend in January, and every single fan would do that, because we can see some of these guys, they're still on counter-attack settings. They're not really into playing. The likes of Bruno, the likes of Fred and Rashford still want to do those kind of things where it's counter-attack. So I would love the idea that the Glazers could see this, but I don't think they see it. I don't think anything's going to happen, unfortunately.
As fans, we were told to be patient. We did, even on the Man United agenda, we said when the manager come in, let's be patient. We've had a really rough run over the last couple of years. So based on that, are we in a good position? If you had to assess it, what is it? How many games in? 8, 9 games in now. Would you say he's done a good job? And we're on course. What was your expectation like at the start of the season?
Yeah, I mean, my expectation was 6th place, because come on, this is the thing. This is why it's very hard to really have a level mind, because especially me, I'm still going off last season in terms of PTSD. The way that we were embarrassed by some of these score lines last season on Monday, the 4-0s, all of this stuff. It's like you just want success to come around the corner and help us redeem ourselves. You want things to work straight away, but it's not going to happen. And in terms of like what we're doing now, I mean, we look at the table, right? We're in 5th place, 3 points behind Chelsea, right? We're on 4th place. So you've got to say, on paper, it looks like it's all right. It looks like, okay, we can do something here. How many games left? About 29 games left? A lot of games to work with. We're still in the growing process. So for me, I'm hoping that the Glazers are allowing the slack. Give this guy the slack, because there's no. I mean, even like what do you call it? Bringing a pep into this situation, because you got to look at managers that are just more experienced. Bringing him into the situation to try and save a team from the last season, which was the most embarrassing in Man United's Premier League tenure, it's going to be hard. That's a big tax. So I would say, hopefully we just at least get top 6, and even we're in the race for top 4. So it's still looking all right.
Yeah, I think we have to be fair. You know what it is, after a result like today, because we had 5 in a row, and then we get really excited, don't we, as a fan base, and then one poor result like this, and he say, well, we did have chances. If Emma was in the comments earlier, and I missed your comment, Emma, but Emma mentioned that it was a decent game. We played pretty well, and we had the better chances. I'm looking at it like, they had a penalty shout, but they didn't really break us down. Callum Wilson had a half a chance, scuffed it in the first half, but it wasn't like they walked through us or anything like that. So it's a slow progression, and we just have to stick with it, I imagine. We're going to wind up soon, but we're going to come to a couple of comments in a second. But do you think that that's the case, that people are like moaning and groaning because it was a draw? Or do you think you have to say the Premiership is a good league, Newcastle obviously a good outfit, and that's a fair result?
Yeah, there's so many variables. This is why, I don't envy Ten Hag's job, trying to bring your dominant football to a dominant division where, you've got to build that team with your players, and you've had like maybe 5 or 4 players that are your kind of level, and then the rest of the team still on counter-attack settings. That's the kind of situation where you have to respect the league. And I respect that Ten Hag went to counter-attack settings for certain parts in certain games. You've got to respect the league. So Newcastle, we've seen them. They're further in their project. This is the thing. We've got to look at the fact that loads of these teams around us are further ahead in their projects. Newcastle last year, they got in their manager to incorporate their system a bit more. The likes of Arsenal, they're like about 3 years ahead with Arteta doing what they're doing. Man City goes without saying. I would say though, a saving grace could be Liverpool messing about right now. I mean, they got the win today, but they're still like 10th. So maybe that might help with Ten Hag snatching their position in this kind of top 4 race. But just to round it off, we've got to look at the competition here. There's so many good teams compared to that Dutch league. So many good teams where you can't just come in and say, "Okay, I'm going to dominate the football in this game and that game," because almost every game is so hard, isn't it? On Monday, I mean,
Yeah.
the Dutch league, you can play like a Herenveen one week, and you're thinking, yeah, 5-0, we're gonna beat these guys because they're not at the level. They don't have as many internationals as the Premier League has, you know. So there's got to be a lot of slack given to Ten Hag, man.
So overall, it's a 0-0 draw today. It's 2 points dropped, I imagine, because we should have finished our dinner in open play with the two chances, Fred and Rashford, in my opinion. Eddie, just give us a shout out. Where can we find you, bro? Because you're always on the agenda, but obviously you've got your own channel as well. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, just first of all, thanks for having me on. You know, it's always good to be on with yourself, a guy that knows football. So everyone hit the like, everyone hit the like and subscribe for the content for the Man United agenda. But yeah, you can find me at Eddie's Football Waffle on YouTube as well. Like Omundi was saying earlier on, give me a good plug at the start, man. I try and do some reaction videos where, you know, I put some comedic elements in there, especially when, you know, results don't go well. It's always good to have a bit of humor in there. So yeah, like and subscribe to Eddie's Football Waffle, and most importantly, Man United Agenda, because it's such a good channel to have people come on. It's so interactive. You respect the comments, you respect all the interactions. So yeah, man, big up.
And yeah, do you want to give a message to the fan base as well, man, about the result? Are you saying be patient, not to worry too much?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, because, you know, the Glazers, even though they've backed Ten Hag a little bit, you would think, yes, okay, let's come to January, let's get more players in. But we've got to remember, these guys will close off their pockets to a certain extent where they think they've backed up the manager. So we've got to be patient with Ten Hag, because Ten Hag's going to be battling against the establishment, against the hierarchy. He's going to be working with what he's got now. So we've definitely got to have patience for the football. Just to finish off, we had more possession. We were pressing. We were counter-pressing to a certain point. It's just that, you know, everything goes in certain levels. The big level now is to go to doing more 1-2s in between a low block. That's what we weren't doing. We kept passing to the side. But this comes with training, doesn't it? And what do you need for training? You need time. So,
exactly.
Yeah, that's the big thing. We've got to see more of the team keep practicing this possession play, and it's not going to happen this season properly. It's going to be a few seasons. We just got to look to the rivals like Klopp. How many seasons did it take him? Maybe 3 seasons to get his team to be calibrated. So that's the level we're on. We've got to be patient, isn't it?
That's a great point. And just to end, there's been kind of 2 shows going on here. It's been me and Eddie, and in the comments, it's been everyone against Olakunle, who's shown his face again. Olakunle, we love you. Big up. Honestly, give the guy credit. It was a great result for Liverpool today. The Premier League is a top league. I do agree. Yeah. And thank you, Kerwin, for the lovely comment here saying enjoyable watch. We appreciate you, bro. On that note, we're going to sign out, guys. Make sure we tune in tomorrow, 8:30. We probably have Andy Tate on to give his analysis about what happened yesterday, or will be yesterday tomorrow, with the 0-0 draw. And then the eye test will be on Tuesday, 10 p.m. Tuesday, 8:30. We've got a show every night of the week, 8:30. We're doing the show for you guys on the Man United agenda. So make sure you join us and contribute as well, because we will read out your comments, especially the good ones, and especially the ones like Vincent's when he throws in little $5 as well. We love that as well. So big up to you guys. Make sure you relax. Go and eat your apple pie, your dessert now after you've had a dinner with us. And just want to say to bath time, I'm going to send you the link tomorrow. I'm very tired. I played football today. My team won 5-1. I am manager of the month, I believe, in the Harrow Challenge League, and we are well respected with a terrible team. But as bath time says, the shape, the organisation wins over everything. So big up to Woodlands United. Thanks a lot. Plugging them as well. Eddie, I really appreciate you coming on. Love working with you. And we collab again very soon, no doubt about it. Big up, guys. We're signing out. Bye-bye.